So hello everyone. At this class I want to continue the part function. Already I have started the chapter relations and function. I have completed the relation part and I have started the function also. So today also I will continue the function part. Okay. So there are few important points to be remembered. In the last class I have given the definition of functions and various types of functions. Now there are few points you have to remember. Okay. The first one is constant function. Constant function actually होता है क्या? Let f is a function from a to b. Yes, let f is a function from a to b defined in such a way that all the elements in set A have the same image in set B. मतलब सेट ए में जितना एलिमेंट्स होगा वो सब एलिमेंट्स का एक ही इमेज सेट बी में होगा. ओके, लेट एफ इज ए फंक्शन फ्रॉम सेट ए टू सेट बी डिफाइंड इन सच ए वे दैट ऑल द एलिमेंट्स इन ए हैव द सेम इमेज इन बी. सी वन एग्जांपल. सपोज ए इज इक्वल टू 1, 3, 4 and b is equal to 6, 7, 8. So these are the two non-empty sets. Along with these two non-empty sets, one condition must be given in the question. Yes, and the condition is here: f of x is equal to 6. Only 6. F of x is equal to 6 is given. Okay. So whether this is an example of constant function or not. तो constant function क्या होता है कि सेट A में जितना एलिमेंट्स होगा सब एलिमेंट्स का एक ही इमेज सेट B में होना चाहिए. तो यहाँ पे जो कंडीशन दिया गया है एग्जाम्पल में, जो रूल दिया गया है, f of x is equal to only 6 is given. So f of x is equal to only 6 means, here I am writing f of x is equal to only 6. What is x actually? X is nothing but the element of set A. So what is the first element of set A? The first element of set A is 1. So if I replace x by 1, which means the value of f of 1 is equal to 6. What is the second element of set A? 3. So if I replace x by 3, the value of f of 3 is also 6. The next element of A is 4. So if I replace x by 4, the value of f of 4 is also 6, because 6 के साथ तो कोई variable नहीं है, it is a constant only. Okay. So f of 1 is equal to 6, f of 3 equal to 6, f of 4 is also equal to 6, right? So this is suppose set A and this is set B. In set A there are 3 elements, 1, 3, 4. In set B also there are 3 elements, 6, 7 and 8. Okay. So f is a function from A to B. Yes or not? F is a function from set A to set B. How can we say? Now see. How can we say that f is a function from set A to set B? Because 1 का image 6 है, 3 का इमेज 6 है, 4 का भी तो इमेज 6 है. That means the definition of function is what? If each element in A is associated to a unique element in B, then only we can say that f is a function from set A to set B. Set A में जितना एलिमेंट्स होगा वो सब एलिमेंट्स का इमेज सेट B में होना चाहिए, तो फिर जाके वो फंक्शन होगा. अगर सेट A में एक भी एक्स्ट्रा एलिमेंट है जिसका इमेज सेट B में नहीं है, then this is not a function. Whereas अगर सेट B में एक्स्ट्रा एलिमेंट होगा तो जिसका प्री इमेज सेट A में नहीं है, then this will be considered as a function. Okay. Yesterday I have discussed all these things. Now this one is a function from set A to set B. The image of 1 is 6, the image of 3 is 6, even the image of 4 is also 6. So that means it is an example of a constant function. What's the definition? Every element in A have the same image in B. Set A में जितना elements है, there are 3 elements, सबका तो एक ही image है ना set B में, that is 6. So that's why it is a constant function. So now from this example, clearly we can say that the range of a constant function is a singleton set. The range of a constant function is a singleton set. Okay. Singleton set, you know the definition of set, you know already you have completed the chapter set in class 11. तो singleton set का definition क्या है? विच कंटेन्स एग्जैक्टली वन एलिमेंट। तो रेंज क्या होता है, रेंज कौन सा सेट में होता है? जनरली रेंज तो सेट बी में ही होता है, और सेट बी में तो एक ही एलिमेंट है जिसके साथ पेयर अप हुआ है सेट ए का सब एलिमेंट्स। तो दैट मीन्स वी कैन से दैट द रेंज ऑफ अ कांस्टेंट फंक्शन इज ए सिंगलटन सेट, मतलब एक ही एलिमेंट होगा हमेशा। ओके, दिस इज वन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट। So this is all about your constant function. Next will come equal function. Equal function क्या होता है? So एक फंक्शन से तो इक्वल नहीं होगा ना, एटलीस्ट दो फंक्शन होना चाहिए। दो फंक्शन होने से उसको इक्वल अनइक्वल बोल सकते हैं, यस और नो? So the two functions f and g, the two functions f and g are said to be equal. The two functions f and g are said to be equal, and it is written as f is equal to g, and is written as f is equal to g if they have the same domain. If they have the same domain, you know meaning of domain? Domain means the x coordinate of the ordered pair, yes or not? So if they have the same domain and they satisfy the condition f of x is equal to g of x, and they satisfy the condition f of x is equal to g of x. What is this x? X is nothing but the domain part of these two functions. Okay, this x is nothing but the domain part of these two functions. Is it clear? What is equal function? The two functions f and g are said to be equal, and it is written as f equal to g if they have the same domain. Domain means the x coordinate of the ordered pair, and they satisfy the condition f of x is equal to g of x, where x is nothing but the domain part of these two functions. मतलब अगर ये दो फंक्शन का डोमेन सेम होगा तो दे हैव द सेम डोमेन, डोमेन अगर सेम होगा तो as well as f of x equal to g of x होगा तो then only we can say that the two functions are equal function. Okay, the third point is even and odd function. So एक फंक्शन दिया है, वो फंक्शन इवन फंक्शन है या ऑड फंक्शन है, how can we identify? Say a function f from a to b, a function f from a to b is said to be even or odd function. A function f from a to b is said to be even or odd function according as f of minus x is equal to f of x for all x belongs to set A. पहले भी बोला था x is nothing but the element of the first set. So here the first set is set A and the second set is set B. Okay, so even कब होगा एक फंक्शन? if f of minus x is equal to f of x for all x belongs to set A, and f of minus x is equal to minus f of x. That means the function is said to be odd if f of minus x is equal to minus f of x for all x belongs to set A. तो कैसे आइडेंटिफाई कर सकेंगे whether the function is even or odd? By replacing x by minus x. दोनों में ही, whether it is even or odd, to identify the even or odd function, just you have to replace x by minus x. So after replacing x by minus x, if you will get the original function, the same function, then we can say that the function is even. But if after replacing x by minus x, if you will get minus of f of x, then the function is odd function. Is it clear? Here I have given one example. Now see this example. The first example is, say f is a function from real number to real number. F is a function from r to r, that is a real number to real number. And f of x is equal to x square is an even function. But कैसे हुआ even function? f of x is equal to x square को even function क्यों लिखा मैं? The reason is, see how can we identify? So since here f of x is equal to x square, replace x by minus x. So f of minus x is equal to minus of x whole square होगा, and minus of x whole square is nothing but x square ना. And is this x square is the value of f of x or not? Now since the value of x square is nothing but the value of f of x, which means f of minus x equal to मुझे f of x मिला कि नहीं? Since f of minus x is equal to f of x, that's why the function is an even function. Very simple to identify whether the function is even or not. सिर्फ x को हटा के minus x बैठाना है. Just replace x by minus x. Here you can check. If I replace x by minus x means you have to replace this x also by minus x. So minus x whole square is x square only because power is even. So ये x square किसका value है? This x square is nothing but the value of f of x only. So x square is equal to f of x. तो मुझे क्या मिला actually? Ultimately जाके f of minus x is equal to f of x. Now since f of minus x is equal to f of x, therefore clearly we can say that the function is an even function. Check the second example. F of x is equal to x cube is an odd function. Why? Here also you have to replace Hamesha, whether it is even or odd, it doesn't matter. Just you have to replace x by minus x to identify whether the function is even or odd. So here also if I replace x by minus x, so the value of f of x is here x cube. So which means minus x cube. It is odd power. So minus x cube means minus x cube only. This is equal to minus of f of x na. Because the value of f of x is x cube. So यहाँ पे मुझे ultimately मिला minus x cube. तो x cube is the value of f of x. तो आगे एक minus sign तो लगाना पड़ेगा. तो मुझे क्या मिला ultimately? F of minus x is equal to minus of f of x. If f of minus x is equal to minus of f of x, then the function is said to be an odd function. Okay? So to identify whether the function is even or odd, just you have to replace x by minus x. If f of minus x is equal to f of x, then the function is even. If f of minus x is equal to minus of f of x, then the function is odd function. Okay? In this way we can identify even or odd function. Okay? This is the third point. The next 2 points are very, very important for short question. That is point number 4 and 5. Along with this formula, I will give one example so that it will be clear very easily. Okay. Then point number 4 is number of 1, 1 and onto mapping. Mapping means what? Function only. Okay. अगर mapping के जगह में function देगा तो meaning is same only. तो number of 1, 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B कैसे find out करना है? Here I have not written the formula. Now I will write the formula. How to find the number of 1, 1 and onto function or number of 1, 1 or onto mapping. See, here I am writing the formula again. Number of 1, 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B. Number of 1, 1 and onto mapping, or you can write function from set A to set B. There is one formula to find out the number of 1, 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B. Now you see. Suppose A and B. Suppose these two A and B. These two sets are non-empty sets. Listen carefully. These 2 points are very, very important for 1 mark. Okay. So suppose A and B be two non-empty sets. And number of elements in set A is equal to suppose M. Whereas number of elements in set B is equal to suppose N. Number of elements in set A is equal to M and number of elements in set B is equal to suppose N. Okay. Now, if M is equal to N, then number of 1, 1 and onto mapping. Number of 1, 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B is equal to N factorial. This is the formula. Okay. If M is equal to N, then the number of 1, 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B is equal to n factorial. ये है formula to calculate the number of 1 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B. The condition is what? If m is equal to n. अभी ये m और n क्या है? m is nothing but the number of elements present in set A. n is nothing but the number of elements present in set B. तो अगर number of elements of set A is equal to number of elements of set B होगा तो then the number of 1 1 and onto mapping from A to B is equal to n factorial. But if m is not equal to n, हमेशा m equal to n होगा बोल के ऐसा कोई बात नहीं है. If m is not equal to n, then number of 1 1 and onto mapping, then number of 1 1 and onto mapping from A to B, this is equal to 0. Direct we can write 0. So these are the two conditions, very very important conditions. मतलब अगर m equal to n होगा तो then number of 1 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B is equal to n factorial. But if m is not equal to n, मतलब if number of elements in set A is not equal to number of elements in set B, then number of 1 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B is equal to 0. Okay, these are the two formula to find number of 1 1 and onto mapping. Important for 1 mark question. Now I am giving one example, तो फिर clear हो जाएगा ज़रा. Suppose in set A there are total 5 elements. Okay, set A contains 5 elements, whereas set B contains 6 elements. Whereas set B contains 6 elements. Listen carefully. This is one example. Okay. Set A contains 5 elements. Set B contains 6 elements. Find the number of 1 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B. So what will be the answer? To find out the number of 1 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B, first of all you have to check whether the number of elements in set A is equal to number of elements in set B or not. If the number of elements of set A is equal to number of elements in set B, then the answer is n factorial. n factorial. ये n किसका वैल्यू है? n होगा set B का number of elements. याद रखना है. Okay. n होगा, this n factorial is nothing but the number of elements in set B. But if number of elements in set A is not equal to number of elements in set B, then the answer is 0. So here number of elements in set A is equal to 5, whereas number of elements in set B is equal to 6. So that means 5 is not equal to 6. So the number of 1 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B is 0. Number of 1 1 and onto mapping from set A to set B is 0. So this is one example. ऐसा क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, तो इसलिए फॉर्मूला याद रखना है. मतलब दो कंडीशंस है, m equal to n, m is not equal to n. So since here m is not equal to n, that's why answer is 0. अगर m equal to n होगा तो then the answer will be n factorial. What is this n? n is nothing but the elements in set B. जितना number of elements होगा उसका फैक्टोरियल निकलना है. You know how to find factorial. Already PNC कर लिया, probability कर लिया, binomial कर लिया, सब में तो यूज हुआ. Okay. So in this way we can find number of 1 1 and onto mapping. One more formula is there, that is number of surjection. Next formula number 5. Number of surjection. You know surjection. What is surjection? Surjection actually है क्या? Onto function. Onto, yes, only onto. So how to find the number of surjections from set A to set B? Here also say if A and B two non-empty sets, and if n of A is equal to m and n of B is equal to n, if A and B two non-empty sets and n of A is equal to m and n of B is equal to n, which means number of elements in set A is equal to m and the number of elements in set B is equal to n, then नंबर ऑफ सर्जेक्शंस फ्रॉम सेट ए टू सेट बी का भी दो कंडीशंस है। वो दो कंडीशन क्या है, मैं अभी वो लिख रहा हूं। नंबर ऑफ सर्जेक्शन from A to B is Roman 1 NCM into M factorial if n is greater than or equal to m, and Roman 2 this is equal to 0 if n is less than m. If n is less than m. So these are the two conditions. Okay. Once again I am repeating. To find the number of surjections, surjection means onto, number of surjection from set A to set B. The two conditions are, see the first one, NCM into, see you know combination, NCM into m factorial. What is this m? M is the number of elements in set A. What is this n? N is the number of elements in set present in set B. Okay, NCM into m factorial if n is greater than or equal to m. If n is greater than or equal to m, then number of surjection from set A to set B is equal to this formula. But if n is strictly less than m, then number of surjection from set A to set B is equal to 0. Okay, if n is strictly less than m, the number of surjection from set A to set B is equal to 0. Okay, so these are the two formula, two conditions. One example you can take. Suppose in set A there are n number of elements, that is set A is equal to say 1, 2, 3 up to n, and in set B suppose there are only two elements A, B. So A, B. So find the number of surjections from set A to set B. Number of surjections from set A to set B. So how can we find the number of surjections? There are two conditions. Check out which condition is applicable for this. How many elements are there in set A? So here n of A is equal to, there are total n elements, yes. And in set B how many elements are there? Set B there are only two elements. Set B there are only two elements. So whether n is greater than m or m is greater than n, क्या होगा यहाँ पे condition? See here m is equal to 2 लेना पड़ेगा. Okay, m is equal to 2 लेना है. Here you have to consider m is equal to 2. So if I consider here m is equal to 2, that means n is always greater than or equal to 2. And since n is always greater than or equal to 2, therefore this formula you have to use. Formula क्या है? NCM. NCM. So NCM अगर लिखूंगा तो मैं क्या होगा यहाँ पे? NCM का वैल्यू 2 है into 2 factorial. So if you expand it, you will get the answer NC2 into 2 factorial. Okay? Here m is equal to 2 लेना पड़ेगा. Generally क्या होता है कि यहाँ पे n का वैल्यू exchange हो गया. Because in set A only there are n elements. तो मतलब सेट B का फिर से n नहीं ले सकता हो. अगर सेट A में n नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट्स है तो सेट B में मतलब वो n को हटा के m रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा. इसीलिए तो m का वैल्यू 2 लिया यहाँ पे. बिकॉज नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट्स इन सेट B इज इक्वल टू 2. दैट्स व्हाई m इज इक्वल टू 2. And since n is greater than or equal to 2, which means the first condition is applicable. What is the formula? NCM into m factorial. And that's why NC2 into 2 factorial. You know how to expand, so you just expand it. After expansion, you get the answer. So this is all about number of surjection from set A to set B. Okay. So next, अभी तक तो टाइप्स ऑफ फंक्शंस में मैं वन फंक्शन, मेनी टू वन फंक्शन, इन टू फंक्शन, ऑन टू फंक्शन, ये सब कुछ फंक्शंस में डिस्कस किया. लेकिन एक फंक्शन अगर दिया रहेगा तो वो फंक्शन वन है या ऑन टू है या इन टू है, वो कैसे चेक करना है? देयर विल बी सम वर्किंग रूल्स, राइट? So now I'm going to discuss those working rules. How to check whether the function is 1, 1 or on 2 or any other function, right? So working rule to prove that a function is 1, 1. Working rule to prove that a function is 1, 1. So there are 3 steps. The first step is find f of x1 and f of x2. मैं पहले बोल रहा हूं कि एक फंक्शन क्वेश्चन में दिया रहेगा. I will give an example. First listen carefully. F of x will be given in the question. From that f of x, you have to find f of x1 and f of x2. Now you can ask x1 and x2 are what? Since only x will be given, means only f of x will be given in the question, then x1 and x2 are what? So x1 and x2 are nothing but it will be given in the question only, whether the x1 and x2 are real numbers or natural numbers or integers. It will be given in the question. That's why I have written here for general x1 and x2. For general means in the sense depends. It depends upon the question. Real numbers भी हो सकता है x1 x2, integer भी हो सकता है, natural numbers भी हो सकता है. Means question में जो दिया रहेगा x1 and x2 वही होगा. ठीक है, एग्जाम्पल मैं दे दूंगा. So the first step is find out f of x1 and f of x2. From where? From the given function. Okay. The second step, equate f of x1 is equal to f of x2. That means after finding the values of f of x1 and f of x2, then you have to equate f of x1 is equal to f of x2 and solve to get a relation between x1 and x2. That means after equating you have to solve. Solve करने के बाद एक relation मिलेगा in terms of x1 and x2. Solve to get a relation between x1 and x2. If x1 is equal to x2 is the only possible relation. मतलब solve करने के बाद अगर x1 equal to x2 ऐसा एक relation मिला तो then only we can say that the function is 1, 1, or else it will be many to 1. Okay. So once again I am repeating the steps. First of all you have to find out f of x1 and f of x2. x1 and x2 will be given in the question. Not values, but the condition whether x1 and x2 are real numbers or natural numbers or integers. Okay. And then you have to equate f of x1 and f of x2. After that solve to get a relation between x1 and x2. After solving, if you get the relation like x1 is equal to x2, exactly x1 is equal to x2 अगर मिला तो, then only we can say that the function is 1, 1, or else it will be many to 1 function. Okay. Now take one example. Show that f from real number to real number. Show that f from real number to real number defined as f of x is equal to 3x plus 4. Defined as f of x is equal to 3x plus 4 is 1, 1. Okay. Show that a function f from real number to real number defined as f of x is equal to 3x plus 4 is 1, 1. जैसे कि मैं बोला था कि x1 और x2 कंडीशन क्या होगा. Here it is given. x1 and x2 मैं पहले भी डेफिनेशन जब दिया था फंक्शन का तब भी बोला था x is nothing but the domain part. x is the domain part. Yes. तो यहाँ पे भी जो real number to real number दिया गया है, f is a function from real to real, so this one is domain, this is codomain. Yes or not? We all know that set A, if I write f is a function from set A to set B, set A represent a domain, whereas set B represent a codomain. Yes, and range is the subset of codomain. तो यहाँ पे set A क्या है? Real number. set B भी क्या है? Real number है. तो मतलब जो x1 x2 होगा, those are what? x1 and x2 belongs to real number only. Is it clear now? It will be given always in the question. Now apart from this condition, आई टोल्ड यू दैट वन फंक्शन मस्ट बी गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज अगर फंक्शन ही नहीं दिया रहेगा तो क्वेश्चन में, तो किसको प्रूफ करूंगा कि 1 1 है. सो हियर द फंक्शन इज गिवन, f of x is equal to 3x plus 4. You have to show that this function is 1 1 function. Okay, हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ फंक्शन क्वेश्चन में दिया रहेगा. विदाउट फंक्शन वी कैनॉट शो ना whether it is 1 1 or 2. So since here f of x is, देखो अभी सॉल्यूशन कैसे लिखना है. Since f of x is equal to 3x plus 4, find out the first step, working rule first step, find f of x1 and f of x2. So find out f of x1. So f of x1 is 3x1 plus 4. Similarly, f of x2 is equal to 3x2 plus 4. Yes. Now what are x1 and x2? You have to mention here. x1 comma x2 belongs to real number. Okay. x1 and x2 are nothing but real numbers. So first step is clear. What is the second step? Equate f of x1 is equal to f of x2. So after getting the values of f of x1 and f of x2, now you have to equate f of x1 is equal to f of x2. Put the values of f of x1 and f of x2, that is 3x1 plus 4, which is equal to 3x2 plus 4. Solve to get a relation between x1 and x2. So 4 will be cancelled. 3x1 is equal to 3x2. Therefore, x1 is equal to x2. Yes or not? x1 is equal to x2. Now, if, look at the third step, if x1 is equal to x2 is the only possible relation, then the function is 1 1. So मुझे solve करने के बाद तो x1 equal to x2 ही मिला, because 3 will be cancelled. So since x1 equal to x2, after solving, since x1 is equal to x2 is the only possible relation, therefore clearly we can say that the given function is 1 1. Okay, is it clear now? These are the 3 steps you have to follow to prove a function is 1 1. Okay, so ये 3 steps ठीक से याद रखना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, f of x1 and f of x2 you have to find out and then equate f of x1 equal to f of x2. हमेशा 1 1 के लिए ये 3 स्टेप्स एकदम ठीक से याद रखना है. इक्वेट करना है f of x1 equal to f of x2, हमेशा इक्वल होगा f of x1 equal to f of x2. so, इसको सॉल्व करने के बाद अगर ये रिलेशन मिलेगा तो x1 is equal to x2, then only we can say that the function is 1 1, or else it will be many to 1. Okay, so this is an example of a 1 1 function. Now I will discuss the working rule to prove that a function is onto. 1 1 onto कैसे find out करना है वो discuss करना है. So now I will discuss the working rule to prove that a function is onto. Okay. So next working rule to prove that a function is onto. Okay. The first step, write f of x is equal to y. जो भी फंक्शन क्वेश्चन में दिया रहेगा उसको y एज्यूम करना है. राइट f of x is equal to y and solve to get an expression x equal to g of y. So after writing f of x equal to y, you have to express the function in the form of g of y. मतलब in terms of y में express करना है. Okay, where g is another function. G is a new function. F of x will be given in the question. After solving, you have to express the function in terms of y, which means x equal to g of y. What is g? G is a new function. And then find f of g of y. Just means you have to replace this x by g of y. मतलब ये जो x का वैल्यू मिलेगा g of y, वही g of y को ये x के जगह में रिप्लेस करना है. फाइंड f of g of y. If y is the only value obtained, means f of g of y का वैल्यू फाइंड आउट करने के बाद अगर मुझे सॉल्यूशन सिर्फ y मिलेगा तो if y is the only possible value obtained, then the function is onto function. Okay, but you have to take care of domain everywhere. कभी कभी क्या होता है कि डोमेन के लिए वो फंक्शन ऑन टू नहीं होता है. ऑफ कोर्स आफ्टर सॉल्विंग यू विल गेट y सॉल्यूशन, लेकिन जो डोमेन का कंडीशन दिया रहता है कभी कभी वो सेटिस्फाई भी नहीं कर सकता है. ठीक है, कभी कभी होता है. इसीलिए हमेशा हमेशा ही मतलब y सॉल्व करने के बाद y मिलने से वो ऑन टू ही होगा बोल के ऐसा नहीं है. यू हैव टू चेक द डोमेन पार्ट ऑफ द गिवन फंक्शन. अगर डोमेन सेटिस्फाई करेगा तो देन ओनली इट विल बी ऑन टू फंक्शन, अदरवाइज नॉट. डोमेन को ठीक से देखना पड़ेगा. डोमेन भी क्वेश्चन में ही दिया रहेगा, लाइक रियल नंबर, नेचुरल नंबर, इंटीजर, दैट पार्ट विल बी गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन. सो हमेशा सॉल्व करने से y मिलेगा तो y मिलने से तुम लोग बोलोगे कि ये ऑन टू हो गया. नो, यू हैव टू चेक केयरफुली वेदर द डोमेन पार्ट सेटिस्फाइज द सॉल्यूशन और नॉट. इफ इट सेटिस्फाइज देन ओनली इट इज ऑन टू, अदरवाइज नॉट. ओके, सो टेक द सेम एग्जांपल जो मैं 1 1 के लिए लिया था. सपोज f इज ए फंक्शन फ्रॉम रियल नंबर टू रियल नंबर एंड f of x is equal to 3x plus 4. Show that it is on to. 1 1 भी प्रूफ किया था यही फंक्शन लेके, तो ऑन टू भी चेक कर लेता. शो दैट द फंक्शन इज ऑन टू. ओके, हियर व्हाट इज द डोमेन पार्ट? डोमेन इज रियल नंबर, तो मतलब जो y का वैल्यू, जो सोल्यूशन मिलेगा y, वो y भी सेटिस्फाई करना है कि वो रियल नंबर है बोल के. अगर रियल नंबर है तो देन ओनली इट विल बी 1 1. ओके, सॉरी, ऑन टू. व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप? व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप टू प्रूव दैट a function is on to? Write f of x is equal to y. What is f of x here? 3x plus 4. So let f of x is equal to y. That is y is equal to 3x plus 4. Yes. Solve to get an expression x equal to g of y. अभी मतलब x को independent करना है. That is 3x equal to, we can write y minus 4. Therefore x is equal to y minus 4 by 3 or not? X is equal to y minus 4 by 3. Now can you tell me whether this function y minus 4 by 3, this is in terms of g of y मिला के नहीं मुझे in terms of y? So this is equal to, x is equal to, it is g of y, which is a new function. Yes, g is another function. Yes, it is a new function only. X equal to g of y. Okay, it is a new function. Now what you have to do, the next step is find f of g of y. Whatever value we'll get, the value of x, वही x का वैल्यू अभी g of y में डालना पड़ेगा. That is therefore f of g of y. What is g of y here? g of y is y minus 4 by 3. Okay, f of g of y, that is f of y minus 4 by 3. This is equal to, what is f of x? Actually f of x is 3x plus 4. Then f of y minus 4 by 3 will be what? 3 into, replace this x by y minus 4 by 3 plus 4. Yes or not? Just we need to replace this x by g of y only, and the value of g of y is this one only. तो g of y का जो वैल्यू है वही वैल्यू को x में रिप्लेस करना है. ठीक है, so now 3 will be cancelled. Y minus 4 plus 4, that is equal to y only, because minus 4 plus 4 will be cancelled. So f of g of y का वैल्यू क्या मिला? y मिला. Find f of g of y, and if y is the only value obtained, मुझे मिला y, then the function is on to. Okay, now take care of domain everywhere. Here what is the domain part? According to this question, the domain part is real number, तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं होगा, ये on to होगा ही. Real part means domain, since the domain part is real number, means minus infinity to plus infinity के अंदर सब कुछ होगा. यहां पे अगर कुछ भी वैल्यू पुट करूंगा तो it will be always belongs to real number, right? It will be always belongs to real number. minus infinity to plus infinity के अंदर सब कुछ सेटिस्फाई करेगा. अगर सेटिस्फाई करेगा तो then only we can say that the given function is on to. अगर डोमेन पार्ट सेटिस्फाई नहीं करेगा तो then this will be not on to function. ठीक है, वही मैं बोला, टेक केयर ऑफ डोमेन एवरीवेयर. मतलब कभी कभी क्या होता है कि f of g of y का वैल्यू सॉल्व करने के बाद y ही मिलता है, लेकिन डायरेक्ट ऑन टू नहीं लिखना है. क्यों नहीं लिखना है? क्योंकि डोमेन पार्ट सेटिस्फाई कर रहा है कि नहीं ये y, वो चेक करना है. अगर डोमेन पार्ट सेटिस्फाई करेगा तो देन ओनली इट विल बी ऑन टू फंक्शन. ओके, सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द वर्किंग रूल टू प्रूव दैट एनी फंक्शन, a function is on to. So till now I have discussed a definition of function in the last class, various types of functions, some important formulas for 1 mark question, working rules to prove that a function is 1 1, working rule to prove that a function is on 2. So this is all about the working rules. With example I have explained. So in the next class I will discuss some more numericals related to functions. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.